Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. High energy flowing with the wisdom, sense of a rich man, knowledge in the rhythm. This is what I'm using to come up with the style, so I'll interact altogether better with the crowd. Nervous for a second, then the record starts spinning, and I fall into the state of mind of what I just created. Pumping like the doctor, deep into the art, to leap up on the tip when we made it. Well, that's most of the first verse of the formula. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna to be continue that. I'm shooting 2 videos tonight. This one is number 18, and then I'm gonna do number 19 right after. We'll finish that verse from the DOC. The song's called The Formula. Um, yeah, I messed that up a little bit right there. Uh, but I'm not gonna edit it out. I've already deleted two or three other attempts. So um, I'm not editing videos. I'm just shooting them straight. So whatever you see is whatever you get. Uh, welcome to the Christmas special. Decided to drop a little Christmas special. Had somebody ask me about a week or so ago why I don't celebrate Christmas anymore, and and without bursting their bubble too much, I just gave them a real simple answer. But I do have a couple of videos that kind of opened my eyes to the true history of Christmas and some things I didn't know. And from there, just a lot of videos. And in those videos, I paused the videos and I would look up whatever they were saying, and I would grab my Bible and I would just uh, Google and Bing all kind of stuff that was on the internet, and just made sure that I was like, whoa, I never knew that. I was always suspicious. I'm gonna unplug the. There's my hand again. My hand's making an appearance. My hand really is the star of the show. Um, I would be like, man, I didn't know those things about Christmas and about the Bible, and why certain things were how they were. I'm trying to plug in the Ethernet cable. Try to plug it in. It keeps falling out. Put my baby on there. Put my baby on there. See if it can hold it still. That way, the video will play steady. I'm not using the Wi-Fi. I'm using the Ethernet. So I'm gonna Oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about the Star of Rimfram real quick, and then I'm gonna watch this video with you. I did make some notes. It's from a channel called EvenAtTheDoors. You can see this is an old video, and old is a relative term, but it's 2020 now. This video was put up back in December 2013. The name of the video is Christmas and Its Pagan Roots, and I know it's still available because it's in my. Matter of fact, we should move it too. It's in my watch later folder, but there's my hand again. Man, my hand is an effing star. I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in the iTag rewatch so that you'll be able to find it. So now it's there. It's in my watch later, but my watch later is a private folder, but the iTag rewatch is definitely a public folder. So if you want to see any of the videos that I've been watching that I've attempted to share with you, or that I have shared with you, that's where it'll be, in the iTag rewatch. So I'm gonna go over this scripture verse because that's important later, and then we're gonna jump into this video. The video is 31 minutes, but I'm not gonna do all 31 minutes. I made some show notes, and to my recollection, well, how much was it? I don't even remember. I think it was like 18 minutes worth of the video, so I'm gonna be trying to fast forward if I can make use of these notes, and then I'm gonna do another video in the next video that I'm doing. So this is 18 that you're watching now, and then I'm gonna do number 19, and 19 I'm just gonna basically let play, and I'm just gonna point out some things that that we associate with Christmas, and I'm just gonna basically let it play. There's a couple of mic drops in that one. I have those. I have notes on those, so I'm just gonna probably say something, maybe pause it for a second, and then yeah, that other video, which is this one, it's called "The Truth About Christmas," and it's from End Times Prophecy. It's a good channel. This is an older video also from same year, December 2nd, 13. So the other one was December 4th, and then this one's December 2nd. So yeah, I definitely would have watched these a couple other times. But there's once you get started down this rabbit hole, there's tons of videos of just talking about the history of Christmas and the origins and what the symbols mean and whatnot. Oh, excuse me, thank you, Jesus. It's pretty late. This is for the simple fact that the Mandela effect may be real. So if that's the case, it's 4:07. This is my first time recording this video. First time saying these things. We're about 6 minutes in, so let's just jump into this. We're over in Acts chapter 7. I'm gonna read am I gonna read? Yeah, I'm gonna read a couple of verses because I want to get down here to verse 43. But I'm gonna read a couple verses before that for a little context, and then we're gonna jump into the video. And like I said, we're gonna I'm gonna be skipping around the video. Hopefully, hopefully it won't take the whole 31 minutes. But this video that you're watching will probably be about 30 minutes long. So thanks in advance for staying with me. So we're in Acts chapter 7, and I'm gonna start from well, you can see verse 40 right there, but that's not. I don't want to read that much. I'm going to start down here in verse 41. I'm trying to get it on the screen and be able to read it out of the Bible itself. So it says, starting in verse 40, it says, saying unto Aaron, make us. Oh, all right. So saying unto Aaron, make us gods, to little g gods, to go before us for this Moses which brought us out of the land of Egypt, we want not is become of him. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I just reading out loud is not my forte. And they made a calf in those days and offered sacrifice unto the idol, and rejoiced in their own works of their own hands. Rejoiced in the works of their own hands. 42. And then God turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven, as it is written in the book of the prophets, O ye house of Israel, ye have offended me. You have offered to me slain beasts and sacrifice by the space of 40 years in the wilderness. Verse 43, this is the one I really wanted to read. Yea, ye took up the tabernacle of Moloch, and the star of your god, little g, Remphaim, figures which ye made to worship them, and I will carry you away beyond Babylon. Just a couple things real quick. So he offered up, they wanted an idol to go before us, so to walk in front of them, to basically lead them, as just like they had with Moses, who was leading them. They rejoiced at the work of their own hands. Those are things that they made. And God, and the paraphrasing here in verse 42, and it says, when God turned away, so God basically let them, he said, all right, just go ahead, do what you want to do. I mean, you're going to do it anyway. You offered up sacrifice to me for the space of 40 years, but now, yeah, you took up the tabernacle of Moloch. We're going to go over that in just a second. And the star of your god, Remphaim, little g, Remphaim. And then on the screen here, let me just go over that because I do think this is important. Remphaim is a figure described in Acts 7:43 of the King James version of the Bible. The relevant verse, and I just read that to you. Okay, so you're going to go down, and it says, because you know when you search something, it'll be like, people also ask, and it says, where did the Star of David come from? The Jewish community of Prague was the first to use the Star of David as its official symbol And from the 17th century, which would be the 1600s, on the six-pointed star became the official seal of many Jewish communities, and sorry about the lines there, I'm getting too close. And the general sign of Judaism, though it has no biblical or Talmudic authority. Don't really prescribe to the Talmud, but definitely doesn't have any biblical authority. And one of the questions that popped up: when did the Star of David begin? Well, it's very specific. It says in 1948, a Zionist movement in 1897 adopted the Star of David as its symbol. It became the flag of the state of Israel shortly after the nation's founding in 1948. If you don't know, Israel's only been a country, recognized country, since 1948. Even though they were a nation before that. Who is the owl god? That is important because Moloch, our reader claims it is actually an owl, and it's actually the same as the great owl at the Bohemian Grove. The owl is Moloch, a satanic entity that demands child sacrifice. And then who was Baal? Baal, little g, God worshipped in many, you can't see it, but I'm reading it to you. Worshipped in many ancient Middle Eastern communities, especially among the Canaanites, who apparently considered him a fertility deity and one of the most important little g gods in the pantheon. Okay, so 11 minutes in. All right, let's rock this thing. Let's we'll drop that out of there. Yeah. Oh, and then some of the images that come up. If you do a Google search, you'll see some of the images that pop up for the Star of Remphan. They probably look familiar, especially this one right here in the middle, but it's older than 1948. The symbol goes way back. My foot's falling asleep. So let's jump into this first video. Again, it's from EvenAtTheDoors. The video itself is called Christmas and its Pagan Roots. And again, I'm going to try to... Oh, Jesus. I'm going to go back and highlight that in a minute. My foot's falling asleep. But I'm going to try to hit these timestamps that I have and only play it for the limited time. We are going to go through the whole video for the most part. But I'm not going to watch the whole video as like with the other one. So let me get let's get this popping.
What is Christmas really about? Christians hate it as theirs with their nativity plays and carol singing.
No.
But pagans also praise their deity at the exact time period. One claims it is in memorial of the Son of God, and the other says it is in memorial of the Sun God. In this short little study, we're going to set the record straight so that no one is confused, and so that we can have a clear distinction between what is Christianity and what is paganism.
Moving over here to 237.
Sun worship. It is one of the oldest practices of pagan idolatry on earth.
We'll be here for about a minute and a half.
Every continent and virtually every culture in the pre-Christian world. The oldest culture on earth, Babylon, worshipped the sun whose name was Shamash. He was usually depicted as a circle with 8 rays of the sun. Sir E.A. Wallace Budge, one of the greatest antiquities scholars of the 20th century, analyzed many of the Babylonian cylinder seals where Shamash is usually represented as rising between 2 mountains, for the Babylonians believed that each mountain had a door. When the sun rose in the east, it opened the eastern door in the morning. And when the sun set and disappeared in the west, it went through the western door in the evening. Babylon's younger sister culture, the Assyrians, worshipped the sun whose name was Asher, who was also their chief deity. He was usually depicted as a winged figure in a circle, sometimes with a bow and arrow in artwork when they were going to war. The Assyrians were heavily influenced by both the Babylonian and the Egyptian culture, where the Egyptian sun god, like the Assyrians, was also depicted as a circle with wings. Whether it was titled Ra or the Atum under the Pharaoh Akhenaten, it was the same pagan sun deity.
Okay, I think that's about it there. Moving on to 558. Again, you can go back and watch this on your own. I highly recommend you do, and just be prepared once you start to go down this rabbit hole. Oh, let's unpause it.
And different pharaohs. In the Americas, the sun god was usually represented in human form, sometimes in a reserved seated position. In Mesoamerica, there were temples dedicated to the sun in places like Teotihuacan in Mexico, and the Aztecs, continuing from their predecessors, offered human sacrifices to him. While all the civilizations mentioned no longer exist, in India, the sun god is still worshipped, and the name is Surya, and mantras or prayers are offered to it.
Mantras or
The
prayers.
13th century AD Konark Sun Temple that is still in use is adorned in its artwork with the same 8-rayed wheel or rays of the sun that was incorporated from the culture of ancient Babylon. The only pre-Christian culture on earth that didn't worship the sun were the children of Israel. And there was one thing that singled them out from all the other nations on earth to prevent them from sinking into pagan idolatry. God said, 6 days may work be done, but in the 7th is the Sabbath of rest. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed.
I would refer back to Genesis. I didn't actually look up this one to see which translation he got. Obviously, the Lord doesn't rest. It just essentially means that he stopped his work, because our God doesn't get tired. We're moving on. We're going over here to 816. Let me just find that real quick. Boom. And
East. There was one culture that amalgamated both the Eastern or Oriental culture and the Greek or Western culture into one, the Roman Empire. Having one of the most vast empires, its faithful soldiers were its strength, and it was renowned for its colosseums all over its empire, where its gladiators fought gruesome and bloody battles in its arenas, its entertainment industry or Hollywood of the day. Its famous sun deities were adopted from the East, and it was called Sol, where we get the name solar system. These sun gods from Rome can still be found today. In this monument from ancient Rome, you can see a smiling sun within a wreath. This has now become the logo of the United Nations. The god Mithra was sometimes depicted with the rays of the sun coming out of his head. And this was the gift French Freemasons gave to the United States that is now called the Statue of Liberty. But when Rome...
Okay, I'm pretty sure that was it on that one. 1147. Okay, hold tight. Wait, 45 is close enough.
If there is one system that sun worship has been preserved in its entirety, it's the papacy, whose headquarters is Vatican City. In the main square in Vatican City, facing St. Peter's Basilica, is one of the oldest symbols of the sun, and people walk over it without in the least being aware of it. From an aerial view, the Vatican Square has the 8-rayed sun wheel, the largest on earth, that forms into the shape of a phallus, and it can be traced back to the Babylonian sun god, Shamash, who has his 8 rays. As you walk into St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican and tour around, sun worship symbols are everywhere. But as you look into a corner, you see a statue of a woman holding the sun god in her arms, which shows the pagan mysteries have not died. You will also see a pagan sun god with a halo or sun on its head, who the Vatican calls St. Peter, It's not Peter. It's the sun god, and the halo can be traced to the Eastern cultures where the Buddhist and Hindu religions adorned their deities with the sun behind its head. And you can see that Catholic art tried to paganize Jesus Christ and show images of him with the halo, where critics assert that Jesus is not the Son of God, but the Sun God.
That's not true. But okay, like you said, they try to ascribe that to my Lord and Savior. And moving on, we're going over here to 1411. Back it up just a little bit, and boom, 2 minutes.
His contemporary Eusebius recorded a list of
Go watch
all
this
the
video
pagan
for yourself.
customs he introduced into the church.
Ask your own
And
questions.
Cardinal John Henry Newman, the Anglican convert to Catholicism who was beatified in England in September 2010, documented all the paganisms that came in. We are told in various ways by Eusebius
He said that all of the pagan traditions need to be
transferred
brought
into
into
the
the
ornaments
church.
to which they had been accustomed in their own. The use of temples, and these are dedicated to particular saints and ornamented on occasions with branches of trees, incense, lamps, and candles, votive offerings on recovery from illness,
There's
holy water,
familiar words
asylums, holy days and seasons, use of calendars, processions, blessings on the fields, sacerdotal vestments, the tonsure, the ring in marriage. Turning to the east, images at a later date, perhaps the ecclesiastical chant and the Kyrie Eleison, are all of pagan origin and sanctified by their adoption into the church. The Vatican has...
Okay. We're moving on to 1809. Again, just here's the name of the channel and the video again. Go check it out for yourself. And again, I know it's still up, because I'm watching it with you right now, but I watched it just to make sure I knew what I wanted to share with you.
scriptural support. Who is it really in honor of? The Canadian-born Freemason, Manly Palmer Hall, who is considered as one of the most respected esoteric scholars in the 20th century, tells us its pagan roots. For reasons which they doubtless consider sufficient, those who chronicled the life and act of Jesus found it advisable to metamorphose him into a solar deity. Sun worship played an important part in nearly all the pagan mysteries. The pagans set aside the 25th of December as the birthday of the solar man.
The solar
They
man.
rejoiced, feasted, gathered in processions, and made offerings in the temple. In fact, the merrymaking is rooted in paganism. The Bible never gives an exact date for Jesus' birth.
That's right.
So when the Christian church adopted December 25th, it was superimposing a Christian festival on a previously held pagan one, says Richard Heinberg, author of Celebrate the Solstice.
A little bit more.
The Roman winter solstice, says Tyler, as celebrated on December 25th in connection with the worship of the sun god Mithra, appears to have been instituted in this special form by Aurelian about AD 273. And to this festival, the day owes its opposite name of the birthday of the unconquered sun. With full symbolic appropriateness, though not with historical justification, the day was adopted in the Western Church, where it appears to have been generally introduced by the 4th century.
The 4th century would have been the 300s. That sounds pretty close to the Council of Nicaea to me. We're getting over here to 21 even. I thought it was interesting to make reference to Avatar, so that was kind of interesting. Did I stop it? I didn't mean to stop it.
The Bible forbids any revering for pagan tree worship, for God wanted his people to be distinct from the world and not be manipulated by the movements of the sun in the heavens. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe.
Right.
They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They must needs be born, because they cannot go. Be
We're just
not
going to skip
afraid of
ahead
them,
20
for
seconds
they
here in
cannot
just a
do
second.
evil, neither also is it in them to do good. For as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might.
Yes, Lord.
Teach not talking about the Christmas tree, though the language is so clear. And they are encouraging their flock to purchase the trees and to celebrate Christmas.
Okay.
But even the secular world knows that the Christmas tree is tied to paganism and spirit worship. Even Jesus says in Luke chapter 16 and verse 8, to paraphrase, the secular world are more wiser than the children of light. Mistletoe, caroling, even Christmas trees were tied to the solstice. Celtic cultures believed that mistletoe's golden berries hold the fire of the sun, and Christmas trees are a vestige of pagan tree worship. Having Christmas trees again hark back to the pagans. They decorated evergreen trees with decorations, food, and runes to keep the spirits close to their villages. The Christian authorities tried for years to stamp this out. So the pagans merely took their trees indoors, which is why we are still doing it to this day.
Okay.
Who is...
Okay. This is the last one, and then I'm going to show you the fish and talk to you for just a second. We're going to bust out this other video. We need to be over here at 2710. Let me pop that right about here. Okay, and then what you'll see is this, the guy on the left is a cardinal or a bishop or somebody. Oh, he might actually be the Pope, to be honest. I'm just going to play it.
1918.
Yeah.
In this picture, he stands on the furthest right, and fifth on the left is the
This
bearded
is
steel
the same guy again.
Scottish-born Andrew Carnegie.
That's Carnegie.
With President Howard Taft.
And Howard Taft.
Gibbons comments on this Mithriac memorial when he
Gibbons.
says, is not every Christian obliged to sanctify Sunday and to abstain on that day from servile work? Is not the observance of this law among the most prominent of our sacred duties? But you may read the Bible from Genesis to Revelation.
Yes.
And you will not find a single line authorizing the sanctification of Sunday.
Because it's not in there.
The scriptures enforce the religious observance of Saturday.
Saturday to Sabbath.
A day which we never sanctify. But the Vatican has put out a number of statements where they have rubbed it in the face of the vast majority of the Christian world that when they keep Sunday, it is not in obedience to Jesus Christ,
right, but
in obedience to the Catholic Church. They have even offered money to any Christian if they can prove the Mithriac Sunday worship from the Bible. Until this very day, not one Christian has stood up to the challenge, the papacy. In a book called The Faith
of Millions, I assume it's a good book. Okay, I got about a minute left. I'm going to go ahead and show you these fish, and then I'm going to come back in here and shoot video number 19. And then we got some new fish. Got a new Grammy. The other one went to the watery grave. We got a couple new black skirts. There's Lone Wolf back there. And a new convict that just went in the thing there. They're doing something down there. I ain't sure what they're doing. I'm pretty sure that they're trying to make new fish down there. But they've gotten that dug out. Got a little new grass. I left the tag on it so I can remember the name. This one's new too. It's very beautiful. It's very bright too. It's super, super green. It could be because it's new, but it's super green. I love that one. Yeah, I love that one. No, I'm not feeding you guys again. I already fed y'all twice tonight, so get back from the tank. Get back. People, I just hope that you can find it in your heart to question God. You know, being a Christian is a thinking man's religion. It says, "Come, let us reason together." If you got questions, the Bible's got answers, and if God be willing, and I hope it is, and I know it is as well, that you might be saved, that you would choose life. So I hope it's your will that you would question God a little bit, open up His Word, do a little praying, and get saved. Get saved into His soon and very soon coming kingdom. Thanks for watching this video. Hit the like button if you didn't dislike it, or hit the dislike button. Leave a comment, because that helps too, and share it if you like. I'm going to talk to you in just a second. God bless.